Hi guys, my name is Anthony Edge from Edge Academy here in San Diego, California. We wanted to share with all our friends and followers some haircuts. We're on lockdown, so this is obviously the time when people are at home, and we wanted to share some haircuts every day. So we're now going to share our fourth haircut. All right, so we've done 3 haircuts prior to this. So we're now going into the more of a mid-length kind of shape. Okay, so straight away, let's talk about the inspiration behind this fourth look. What we're going to do, we're going to go right back to 2017. 2017, we did a collection called the Polaroid collection. So as you can see here, this was shot on like a Polaroid camera. It's really big at the time in 2017. Going to somewhere like an Urban Outfitters, get a Polaroid camera, and get those kind of imagery and stuff, and that's what we took a lot of inspiration from. Also, we took a lot of inspiration from like photo shoots and backstage at fashion shows, because you see a lot of Polaroid cameras knocking, a lot of Polaroids knocking around of like models before and after, makeup, inspiration, stuff like that. And me and Gloria came up with the idea of like, let's shoot with Polaroids, and that's how we did it. It's quite a few different looks, from long, mid-length, and short haircuts, as well as some nice men's haircuts, a nice little men's collection within this collection. Still very current today. I know we turn around and say 2017, but for me it's still very current. At the end of the day, it's how you promote a haircut and talk about it. So as you can see, when I just even flick through there, some beautiful little images which you can look through. If you want to see more about that collection, you can go on our website at edge74.com. and you can check out all our past collections on there, our inspiration, all our classes, tools and stuff like that. Okay, so what this is an asymmetric bob. As you can see, if you get a bit closer, Gloria, you can start to see it's a little bit offset. Sometimes I say asymmetric, sometimes I prefer to say offset, because it's asymmetric sometimes to me makes it very 80s inspired, and maybe a lot shorter and very long, so very completely the opposite. Where if you look at this photograph, it's not so asymmetric, it's a little bit more offset, and that's what I feel like it keeps it more modern, more fresh. When it's slightly asymmetric, it's not like really short, really long, if that makes sense. Beautiful, naturally curly hair, working with 3 sections. Okay, so really simple little technique, really salon friendly. Got a client who's got like a mid-length shape or a bob and just wants to funk it up a little bit. That's all they want to do. They just want something fresh. All right, so I've got a mid-length shape. I just want to make it a little bit more exciting. All right, so how do I do that? So working one side shorter, one side a little bit longer, working with this a different sectioning pattern. So that's how we're going to approach it. So just to make it a little bit faster, we've pre-sectioned already. So if I spin our, if I come around that way, and then I'll probably do the wall again. And then you can start to see what we've done there. So first section, what we're going to literally work in there would have been a diagonal section, just slightly towards the ear. All right, so around about the occipital bone, diagonal forward. Okay, and then we've got a section just within this nape area. Okay, this is going to be like a little undercut. All right, a little disconnection, a little undercut through there. Okay, and then once we've got that through, we're literally going to work in a horseshoe section. Okay, so a little horseshoe section. So the horseshoe, if you can see here, horizontal, going through one side, going high recession, so high recession, coming a little bit lower, and then what you'll see is going offset. So what we're looking at, that line there, it's going higher, and then it comes into lower. Okay, so we're looking at that lower section. Okay, so then when you look at it straight on, you'll be able to see straight away that you've got the horseshoe, one higher, one lower. Okay, so we're working, that creates that kind of offset feeling straight away. So what that means is this side's going to be the shorter side, this side's going to be the longer side. Okay, so really you're working this haircut from like a natural parting. So if you've got a client who turns around and says, look, I wear my hair going over to the right hand side, then you'll take this parting higher and then lower on the right, if that makes sense. Okay. If the client turns around and says, no, I wear my hair going the opposite way, then this side would be higher and this side would be lower. Okay, so decide on which way you're going to do. Got to really important, that's really coming from your consultation, making sure that your consultation is right and you knowing how your client is going to wear it. If she says, I actually wear it both sides and I wear it sometimes in the middle, then you're not going to work something offset. All right, because if you work something offset, it's never going to sit right. Okay, so this is really designed for somebody who wears a natural parting or wears it over to one side. Okay, you can do it on curly hair, but you can also do this on straight hair. I know we showed you the image where it was curly, but if you've got a client who's got like a straighter hair texture, then you could work this as well. Okay, so it's a great all-rounder for someone who's basically got a middle end for a bob and they want to funk it up a little bit. Okay, so how we're going to approach it. We've got the offset horseshoe in there, we've got the diagonal section just below the occipital bone, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to work in the nape area first. So we'll put the head slightly forward, okay, and I'm literally going to work through this, this nape area first of all. So I'm just going to split the hair into half like so, and literally going to work on a slightly diagonal section. So you can see the diagonal forwards, so my fingers are going to be diagonal forwards all the way through. So I'm going to work perpendicular, parallel to the parting, teeth to the parting, and I'm going to work on a 45-degree elevation. So depending on the density of the hair, how low the hairline is, the density of the hair, how the hair's sitting, is how many sections you take here. Because I can't cut it all in one go, because if I cut it all in one go, what's going to happen? I'm creating like an inversion. Alright, so I've got to subdivide on a slightly diagonal, grab that bit of hair, maybe just twist that out the way. If you have a clip, you can clip that out of the way if you wanted to. Okay, and then you're just going to comb from underneath. Right, I'm using the finer teeth of my comb to get a bit more tension. Okay, my fingers are going to be parallel to the parting. Okay, and I'm just going to literally blunt cut this through. Okay, how short you take this, again, is honestly up to you. Okay, when we did this in 2017, we did it a lot shorter, but I just want to make it a little bit more current to what we're doing now. You know, it's nice to go back, to go forward. That's what we like when we do our own collections. We do our collections, and it's nice to have a look at the shapes, what we did a few years ago, and then think about how can we redefine them. So yes, it is going to be slightly longer than what we did actually on the girl and on the Polaroid. And why that is because I just feel like it's more current now, where it's a little bit more lifting and a bit more grown out. When we did it actually in the Polaroid picture, this was a lot shorter, you know, probably half of this. Okay, so the shorter you go, the stronger it's going to look. Okay, think about like anything. Like I always say, people always say to me, what's the difference between a strong haircut and a commercial haircut? And I used to say 2 inches. So 2 inches shorter on this shape, then it's going to be really aggressive, quite strong undercut. So what that means, you could even shave this, you could do scissor over comb, you could get a clipper out there. What's that going to do? It's going to make it really strong. Knowing your client, if the client can take it, then perfect. If your client's like, whoa, 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 that's just too much for me, then the best thing to do is to leave it a little bit longer. So in this case, if you're working with like a natural texture, and you're working with curly hair and you want it to swing around and have a bit of fun, yeah, there's nothing much worse than going too tight and too short. Alright, so I've done it basically into 3 sections. I've gone 1, 2, and then the last one just slightly lower, just to build up a little bit of weight. Okay, so now what we're going to do exactly the same on the opposite side. So slightly diagonal, okay, so slightly diagonal forward. Okay, we'll grab that top hair there, and then we'll just twist that out the way. Okay, so keep your sections nice and clean. And then my finger is perpendicular or parallel to the parting. Okay, again, depending where you've been trained in the past, everyone has their own little terminology. Could be T to the parting, parallel, perpendicular. Okay, so in this case, I'm just slightly diagonal forward, mirroring the section. Okay, see the guide, nice and blunt. Okay. If you wanted to, and you wanted to create a bit of texture in here, you could point cut it. You don't have to blunt cut it. Okay, so again, just getting that round, combing from underneath. Okay, using, like I said earlier, the fine teeth of the comb to get a little bit of tension there. Slightly diagonal. And then my last section, I comb from underneath to get the guideline. I comb on top just to lower the elevation, so the elevation comes a little bit lower on that top section, and then just literally just working that up like so, just following that line. Okay. I don't want to go too high on the last section, otherwise all of a sudden you don't realise, but if I go up here somewhere like this, on this angle, then I'm layering the hair. Alright, this is a graduation, so I'm basically going 45, 45, and then a kind of like a stationary 45, so I'm starting to build up a little bit more weight. So look, when I comb from underneath, and then I comb on top, I'll just build that little bit of weight just through there. I don't want to start to layering the hair too much. Okay, I'm going to start to introduce layering later with this. So this haircut is basically broken up into 3 sections, but it's introducing graduation, then into layering. Okay, right, so I'm happy with that. So what we're going to do now, before we continue, I'm just going to pull out from the same guide and just check my balance. Pull out and then just check my balance. Pull out and just check that balance. Okay, just check your balance. It takes 2 seconds to try that. Okay, and then what you could do as well, you could just literally go through the hairline and just tidy up that hairline. Alright, if you wanted to, you could even blow dry this. Yeah, you could, if you're working on like a smoother texture, yeah, you could blow dry all this, get it all dried, and then even detail and customize. So again, it's up to you if you want to customize, personalize, because what you see and what I see are always going to be different. Some of you might be looking at this and going, oh, I would have took this a lot shorter. Some of you would have gone, I like that length, it's playful. Okay, you've got your own clientele who come to you and they like the shapes, what you put in, they like the length, what they put in. Okay, so you can see, like, even when I'm just moving that around now, without any product in there, you can start to see the shape. Okay, you can start to see the weight line there, you can start to see the shape coming through. Alright, and you can, it looks pretty good. Does it look alright? Yeah. Alright, so now we're going to go into the, you okay? Mm-hmm. So now you're going to go into the,
Can you turn the doll head? Because I...
Okay, so you can see the shape. Alright, so now we're literally going to go through the second section. Okay, so first section completed. Alright, pretty straightforward. 1, 2, and then a little bit lower with the elevation. Exactly the same on the opposite side. Tidying up the perimeter. So it's all basically working slightly diagonal forward because that's the shape we're trying to create, is going forward. So it's going to be longer towards the face. Okay, so now we go on to our second section, which is just below the horseshoe. So it's around the curvature of the head. This is going to, the nape area, what we've just done, is going to be an undercut. Alright, it's literally disconnected. Alright, so this now is going to be left longer over it. So you comb all that down. Alright, so it's not connected, it's disconnected. It's a little bit softer. Okay, right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to literally start through the centre of the back. And we're still going to carry on with our layering. Okay, so we're going to still carry on with our layering technique. Okay, and we're going to literally work with a layer. Alright, so we're going to bring that out from the base. Okay, so you're going to literally work in the centre. Alright, so I'll probably put it on a profile so you can probably see the angle what I'm doing. Alright, so we'll go straight through the middle. Ignore that side, we'll ignore that side, we'll just literally go right in the middle. Okay, right in the middle. Okay, and then if you see the angle I'm going to cut, so if you go more on the profile, then you'll see what sort of shape I'm cutting. So if you can see, when I pull that out, see that short piece there? Don't connect it. Okay, that's way too short to connect. So that would be something like that. That's crazy short. Okay, traditionally, if I was doing a graduated bob or something more classic, then you would lower the elevation and bring everything down to this stationary guideline, and it'll get heavier and heavier, and then it'll build up weight. What we want to do here, we want to create a bit more softness. All right, so it's a disconnection. All right, so how disconnected we're going to leave it? We're just going to leave it a little bit longer. So we're going to see what that, see that kind of length there. I'm going to leave it a little bit longer. Okay, so I'm going to work from my outside of my fingers. So I'm going to introduce a bit more of a layer. All right, so what I'll do, I'll just literally see the guide, and then leave it probably about 2 inches longer, and then I'm going to point cut now for texture. Okay, just a little bit of point cutting. So everything's just straight out from the head at 90. and then point cut through, and then we'll drop that down, and then we'll see how that's sitting. And what we want that to do, we want this hair, this layer, to complement the head shape. Okay, so we want that to sit underneath the elbow. So the top hair there, just underneath the horseshoe, we want that to sit underneath the elbow. Okay, so it really complements the head shape. If you wanted to go shorter, more than welcome to, because like I said earlier, what you see and what I see are always going to be different. So if you can see, the disconnection is probably about a good 2 inches. Okay, so a good 2 inches disconnected. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to work on our shorter side. All right, let's get rid of some of the hair. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to step round the head. Okay, so I'm just going to work vertical sections, vertical, and I'm going to step round the head. Okay, I'm working with the larger teeth of the comb now, all right, because I've got a little bit more hair to play with. So I'm going to step round the head shape. So I'm going to use that as my guideline, and I'm just going to point cut following that guide. So you can see working from the outside of my fingers, so I'm introducing a bit more of a vertical layer. Okay, 90 from the head, and then just vertical, push that hair away, and then elevate everything out of the hair at 90 on the base. So it's just 90 on the base, and then literally point cutting through, eliminating that hair. So what's happening, the hair is all going out 90, 90, 90, okay? So, working previous guideline, previous section, see the guide, nice and clear, and then just point cutting through. Now we're going to come round the head, so I can start to see more straight on what we're obviously doing. Pushing that hair away. So remembering, this is the shorter side of your bob. Alright, so bringing all that out at 90, and this is your shortest side. Okay, so just bringing everything out, like so. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to carry on, bringing everything out on the base at 90. So the distribution and the elevation. So how I'm combing the hair and how I'm elevating the hair is 90 from the head. And I'm just point cutting it as a vertical layer. Okay, so it's just vertical layering. Okay, just straight out from the head. Literally just point cutting through. Keeping that nice and soft and shattered. Okay. Like I said before, if you want to make it a bit stronger and you wanted it a little bit more, you know, if you're working on maybe a finer density, instead of point cutting, you could blunt cut it. Okay. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cross check it. Just make sure I'm happy with the overall shape. Follow it around the head. Just cross check horizontally. If I see a long bit and I felt like, oh, I missed a bit, then just go back through vertically and just check the actual shape. Okay, so that's all finished. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I like the length. You know, you can see there's plenty of length on there. If you're working with curly hair as well, beautiful. Even when it's starting to dry now, a little bit, you know, it's on a mannequin and it's wet, but you can start to see how that shape is looking really nice. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the opposite side. Okay, this side is obviously the lower side. So if you look straight on, this is higher, this is lower. All right, so the lower side is going to be left longer. Okay, so how do we maintain more length on this side? Okay, so what we're going to do, depending on the density of hair, is how much you travel. Okay, so if you're working on like a medium texture, then it might be good to over direct to the previous. Okay, or you might want to over direct just behind the ear. If you're working on finer hair, then what you could do, you could over direct all the hair back to the middle. Okay, so you could bring everything back to the middle. All right, so again, if you did that on like thicker hair and you pulled everything back to that stationary guideline, then it would be maybe too heavy. So what I'm just trying to say is think about the density of the hair. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. So you make it your haircut and not my haircut. So in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to literally go just behind the ear. All right, so I'm going to go on the base, on the base, on the base. And then all the rest of the hair then is going to go behind the ear, just to maintain some more length. Okay, so I'm going to start, change my body positioning now. So I'm going to stand on the opposite side. Okay, I'm going to work vertical layering, exactly the same. So vertical. There's the guideline, you can see it. Okay, so I'm just going to literally get some more hair in there. There's the guide, nice and clear. Literally working around the head. Point cutting through. So as you can see, just behind the ear there, so that last vertical section there, this will be on the base. Okay, so just stopping just behind the ear, everything 90, and then what we're going to do now, the rest of this hair now is going to be pulled back to behind the ear. So just vertical. Let's just tighten this up. It's been spinning around a little bit for me. And then I'll put on a profile so you can see how much I'm going to over direct back. Okay, so you just over direct, and you're just bringing that behind the ear to the stationary guide, and then travelling. Okay, so it's all over directing back. Okay. And if I drop that down, you can see straight away we've maintained more length. I spin around and you see her on the profile and you can see it's slightly longer and shorter. Okay, so I'll put her head straight. Okay, alright, so you can see straight away that one side is a little bit shorter, one side's a little bit longer. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to tidy up that and make that a bit stronger. So we're going to go back into the back. Okay, we're going to comb it down to its natural fall. Okay, and then you can decide how much you want to actually come off the perimeter. I don't want to cut loads off this perimeter, so I'm just going to comb it down to natural fall. So it all comes down to a natural fall. Okay. So you can see this longer piece falling over. It falls over the undercut. So you're not cutting into the undercut, right? You're not cutting any of that undercut. You're just literally just combing the second section, what you've just been layering. Just literally just point cutting through to a natural fall. Decide, do you want to show some of the undercut off? Did you want to expose it? Did you want to show it? You more than, you know, some of you might say, yeah, I want to see that little short bit underneath. Some of you are like, I don't want to see it at all. Okay, and then combing the hair down to its natural fall through the sides here. And this side is the shorter side, like we've said. And then just literally just tidying up wherever necessary. Okay. And then to the opposite side, this is the side where it's going to be going a little bit longer. So what that means is now we're going to, instead of being natural fall, we'll just over direct it and nothing will reach. So I'm just going to over direct that front and maybe just knock off a little tiny bit. Alright, and then what happens then when I come straight back on, let's look at it as like, let's do it nice and straight and you can see it, and you can start to see a little bit more of an offset shape. So look, I just give this shake, a little bit of a scrunch, yeah, and all of a sudden you can start to see that kind of offset feeling to it. Alright, just slightly longer than the other. But if you want to make that shorter, you're more than welcome to. If you want to make this longer, you're more than welcome to. Little tricks here as well, like if you wanted to show that undercut off even more, you wanted to show that shorter bit off and you wanted to expose it, you could even take this shorter, yeah? but I like to cover it up and that, and I wanted it to hug and complement the head shape. All right, so that layer sitting underneath the O-bone is really going to complement. All right, so that's our second section done. One side 90, one side a little bit over direction. Okay, so we're going to go on to our third and final section for this haircut. Okay, so before doing that, just to be a little bit of a safety barrier, you could clip the underneath out the way. So if you wanted to, if it was straight hair, what I suggest to do is you could blow dry all this and detail it and finish it. So in a way, what I like about this haircut and how I was playing around with it back about 3 or 4 years ago, I got a lot of inspiration from like jigsaws and puzzles, because I felt like, okay, do a disconnection, dry it, cut it, dry it, detail it, finish it, dry it, and then move on to the second disconnection. Then cut it, yeah, dry it, detail it, finish it. And then your third or fourth disconnection, yeah, do exactly the same. So all of a sudden, when you came to the end of the haircut, you wasn't kind of like, oh, there's a short bit here, there's a long bit here, and I'm lost. So what's nice about this haircut, if you've never disconnected before, never done an undercut before, what's really nice about it is you can do the first section, dry it all, yeah, detail it, completely finished it. Second section we've just done, you cut it, you dry it all, you detail that, completely finished. Then you've got your third one. And then once you've done this, you dry it, you detail it, that's the end of the haircut. Okay? Why we haven't done that today is because we're showing you a little bit more of a curlier kind of finish, a little bit more of a textured finish. Okay, so the third and final section, okay, we're working with this more of an offset feeling to it. So instead of literally working something from behind your client, we're going to literally work on the side. So we're going to literally work on the shorter side, and we're going to work with an offset layer. All right, so asymmetric layer, offset layer. Okay, so we're going to work on the higher side. So this side being the higher side, and this side being obviously the lower parting. So you can see that it's lower and it's higher. So we're literally going to work on the higher side. So I'll go straight across the head here. I'm going to stand on one side, and I'm just going to literally over direct all the hair over to one side. All right, so I'm going to lift this out on the base, and then what's going to happen, the rest of the hair is traveling over to this guideline. All right, so it's going to be on the base at 90, and then all the rest of the hair is traveling to this stationary guideline. How do I cut it? Do I cut it square, or do I go short to long? We wanted to leave some more length in the fringe, so I'm going to just show you the angle I'm going to cut it. So on the profile. So you could cut it square, but we didn't, because we wanted to leave more length in the front for our model and for our client to have a bit of fun with it. So what we did short to long. So I'm going shorter at the back and longer towards the face. Okay. How long do you leave it through the front? Again, just have a look before you can go through any more. But just short to long. That long piece, then have a look and see where it's actually falling. Do you want to make it shorter? You want to make it more asymmetric? Then you can go back in and take a little bit more off. Again, it's personally up to you. All right, so I'm just going to take a fraction more off. All right, just don't want to get carried away too much. All right, and then literally what we're going to do now is we're going to travel. Okay, so let's go back onto the straight on, and then what you'll be able to see is all the rest of the hair coming to this stationary guide. All right, so I just literally work another section, and then I over direct everything to this guideline. So you'll be able to see it's going from shorter at the back to longer at the front, but you can, why I've done it straight on for you is because you can just see everything is literally coming to that stationary guideline now. It's coming off the base and going longer and longer and longer. So that's what we're going to do. End up going to be asymmetric. So drop that down. All this hair now gets combed over, okay, to a stationary guide. So I can just bring that over. Stationary guide, so just to give you an idea of like where it's coming to, and then what we'll do now is we'll go back to a profile so you can start to see the actual shape being cut as well. So it's nice to see that it comes right over, Alright, but then when we come onto the profile here, you notice I've not cut anything below the horseshoe. Alright, so it's really important because you don't want to cut the length off. You don't want to cut your bob off. Alright, so you told your client I'm going to maintain this nice and long, and then all of a sudden you end up like maybe combing it and cutting too much off to it. So I'm just working within that horseshoe. So look, I don't comb any of this hair, making sure that you keep your sections nice and clean. Cleaner sections, cleaner haircut. Okay, so you're just combing all that hair over. See the guideline, nice and clear. It's basically, this is my shortest point. Okay, so it's shorter at the crown, going longer towards the face. So if you're over directing quite heavily like this and you've got a lot of hair, you can see even my tripod is coming off the base a little bit because I'm a little bit too heavy handed. So really just keep an eye on your head position of your client. Alright, it's nothing much worse than you're a bit heavy handed and your client's head, you know, all of a sudden your dolly head's head is over to one side. Okay, so you see she's upright, it's kind of nice. Another way now is to cross check it. Okay, so you can literally just cross check the shape, and what you're looking for here is shorter to longer. Okay, so if you cross check this, what you're looking for is short to long. Okay, so it's longer on one side, shorter on the opposite side. Okay, and that's what we've got. Okay, so you lift that straight up on the base, and you can see it's shorter, going longer. Okay, final section, final part of the haircut. Okay, and then we're finished. It's literally just keeping it all clipped up still, and then you just comb all this down over to your client's face. And what you're going to do now, you're going to do the outline of your fringe, because we've done all the perimeter. So all the perimeter of your bob is done. All your undercut is finished. So the last little bit is just this kind of asymmetric fringe, and it's already there because of your layering pattern, what you've done. So excuse my back. All right. So what we'll do is just literally go a horizontal section right across. All right. You bring this forward over your client's face, and then how much do you want to expose? How much do you want to see? We were working on a naturally curly hair on our model. It was really tight curly hair, so I didn't want to get carried away with it too much. So again, we created a bit of elevation for a bit more softness, and we just knock off that little bit more of a corner through here really. The shape's already there, you know, we've got that short to long from your layering pattern. I want to maintain all the length in that corner, so I'm just literally just dusting, tidying up. Yeah, the shorter you take your layering on the top, the more stronger and edgier the shape will be. Like we said earlier, if you want to make this stronger, yeah, you can either take your layering shorter, or you take the undercut, or the fringe even shorter. Okay, and whatever reaches, nothing else is going to reach. That's not going to reach either. So this is your moment of truth basically. You take out your clips. So you take out your clips. These are like your kind of a safety clips. You take them out, and then what you'll do is just literally shake it out. So what you've got technically, you've got 3 disconnections in here. You've got a short piece on this side, shorter area, and then you've got a longer area on the opposite side. Okay, and you just literally just shake that all out and start to see your actual shape you've just created. And there you have it. You know, we've not put any product in here. It's just worked on a mannequin with damp, kind of wet to dry. If this was really curly, you can imagine what it would look like. It would really stack out really nice. And that's what the technique is. It's just a beautiful, simple offset or asymmetric bob. All right, so we'll just literally show you the image of what we've done. Okay, as you can see, it's a curlier hair here. All right, so it's a curlier kind of image. This was from our website on edge74.com. It's from the 2017 collection. It's called Asymmetric Bob. A little bit offset, so shorter, longer, asymmetric with the fringe. 3 sections, really simple. So working with a graduation within the nape, vertical layering on the sides with one side longer and one side shorter, and then an offset kind of layer through the top. Hope you've enjoyed the technique. It's really simple. It's a little bit more fun for somebody who has a little bit bob. Thank you very much.